Please tell the government that the culprit will be brought to justice loudly, peacefully, without burning up the streets.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of Galea Kills Everything, your number one rated Metropolis daily weather program where Galea kills everything. We are on special assignment again tonight out here on frozen Mogo. We have been contracted to come out and see what the ruckus is. It looks like there is new stuff going on out here. Specifically, the manifestation of Luzia's sorrow. Now, this is essentially just a golem made entirely out of depression and psychic energy and hard light, or something to that effect. What we do know is that it's a very, very unique sort of battle, and we're going to unpack how it works right now. First off, if you're coming into this from the understanding that you need to be part of the train in order to make it happen, be my guest. This is brand new stuff. It's day one, and everybody and their mom is running it. If you want to get on the train, it's a choo-choo train. Come on, ride the train. It's a choo-choo train. Now, that said, if you're trying to run it solo because your parents didn't love you enough when you were a child, or you have too much nervous energy, spare time, and absolutely no concept of what you should do with your resources, boy, do I have a treat for you. Now, this fight is not that hard, and it's not that easy. It's more of a build check than it is a straight DPS festival or a mitigation required sort of party, but there are elements of all three that it's going to require that you have in line in order to make it happen. Now, again, manifestation of Luzia's sorrow is the brand new hotness, so if you want to run it solo, do it. If you don't, plenty of train opportunities. Now, to move into the fight mechanics itself, Luzia's sorrow is a very strange fight. It's almost designed to function like the equivalent of a mobile channel character, amazingly enough. Specifically, her abilities are 100% mobility based while she's using them. She only has one or two things that she ever really stops for. And she has a lot of other things that are common to mobile channel build characters. She has a lot of zone control, a lot of single target damage that hurts like hell, and to be frank, that really is all you need sometimes, trust me. It's a winning formula for a reason. Now, how this manifests with her, she's got two main ability attacks that she's going to use pretty much constantly. You've seen that gray beam that she uses that hits you? That does about 70,000, 80,000 damage a tick, depending on what you've got for armor and mitigation. And it hits you about 8 or 9 times in a row, and because it's a mobile channel move, it doesn't miss. It's like Absorb Heat or Ionic Drain. It follows you around the entire time it's hitting you. The other thing that she does, which is fun, she has a multi-hit projectile attack that is not unlike Avalanche or Flame Cascade. It's a bunch of little gray energy balls that all hit you back to back to back to back to back. These don't do quite as much damage, but they still do damage. In addition to that, there is a third projectile attack, which is a cone-style heavy wave. This is the only one of her ability attacks that has a real telegraph. If you see it, get out of the cone area because it's going to do a lot of damage to you in a very short amount of time, and it's also going to knock you back a tremendous distance. And as you can see, you are surrounded by depressing Gray Lantern fog right now. It is easier than you would think to lose the little blue dude behind you that you have to keep checking in with. And you have to keep checking in with it. That's not an exception in this fight. You will have to go over there multiple times in order to keep the sorrow meter from building up to the point where you start taking 6 digits of damage apiece. And as you can see there, if she hits him with the beam attack, Hope's Beacon goes away. So, if you have the Blue Lantern ring, bring your own. You are going to want it for a couple of different reasons in this fight. Now, the first reason is pretty obvious. If you're starting to take damage from the sorrow meter, you need that to go away immediately. The second reason is also probably pretty obvious at this point in time, because as you can see, every single time she actually gets pointed at Galea for any amount of time, Galea starts getting shellacked pretty easily. That's because Luzia's sorrow does a tremendous amount of damage. In addition to that, the minions of sorrow that get summoned here, the little memories here, these guys all have the ability to use various low potency range attacks, which add up quick. Remember, there's a reason why we deal with background ads. If you want to know what that reason is, go fight Calculator and leave his little dudes alone. Let's see how long you last. Now, the other thing those things can do, which is kind of neat and kind of rotten, they each have the ability to independently summon the Grey Lantern style circle of depression energy that causes you to take damage and slows you down every single time you come into contact with it. In addition to the fact that they can all summon one, they can summon them almost simultaneously, and they can summon them in overlapping configurations, which means if you get caught in the middle of it, while you're getting knocked around and stumbling around in the fog trying to find the only blue lantern out here, you end up taking a tremendous amount of damage, and because it slows you, you end up taking that damage for longer. If that wasn't bad enough, you also have the opportunity to be chased down by not one, not two, but three, count them, three separate manifestations of the Subjugator Beam of Sorrow. Those things will follow you around, and they all do a tremendous amount of damage when they come into contact with you. Don't worry, they still hurt like hell. All of this stuff forms an overlapping nightmare that's held together by a glue called low mobility, shitty visibility, and constant, continuous damage. The fact that you move around is going to be probably one of the major saving graces in here, because at least it will prevent you from taking double damage constantly. But you're always going to get hit while you're in here. There's really only two effective ways to prevent it for any extended amount of time, and even those aren't necessarily great long-term solutions. They're just part of what you have to do to survive. The first one, of course, that Galea here is employing pretty much non-stop in this fight is aggro drop. As you can see, the manifestation of Luzia's sorrow is spending a lot of time turning my robot sidekick back into psychic garbage. And thankfully, it's very easy to resummon the robot sidekick. And the other part of that conversation is, if it's taking the ass beating and you're not, then guess who got their paycheck today? That means the robot sidekick is doing its job. Now, this was a fun fight. I tried this out tonight. This is the first thing that I got to do when I got off of work today. I got it in one. I'm excited about that. But I still wanted to see what the other versions look like, so I've got the fire tank and the ice tank done already. They'll be along soon. Galea is gloating right now. She did good tonight, so. But this is really a very weird bounty, and it's kind of unique. I know most people are generally just going to come through and run it on the train, and like I said 9 times before this, it's fine. Get on the train. It's a good way to get your kills in. But if you want to fight something that's actually a very interesting logistic fight from the standpoint of the bounties in the game, and something that is definitely weird, and I think that's the biggest and number onesiest thing that I like about this bounty, is that it's weird. And I think that's what I like about all of the big bounties recently, basically from the, I'd say from Casnia forward, the Apocalyptian bounties aren't bad either. Definite movement forward in favor of things like mechanics and stuff like that, but there's also a little bit of a throwback flavor to a couple of them, like Steppenwolf, for example. That's definitely a lot more of an old knockdown, drag 'em out kind of bounty than this is. That all being said, this is a great place to test your build. And if you have something kind of unique that you're running, like the Oops All Finishers build that I have going on here, it can pay some dividends, I'm not gonna lie. She's out here making the donuts happen right now, but aside from that, it's just a very interesting kind of place. I think Mogo is one of my favorite pieces of content for a long time, and it's not necessarily because of the mechanics, it's just the general feel of being on a giant inhospitable rock that's completely covered in ice. I don't know, maybe I'm a weird person, but I like wintertime content. I'm a wintertime person, so I think that might be why part of it resonates with me. The other part of the conversation is Vice was a weird fight. This is a weird fight. It's not the hardest from the standpoint of the mechanics presented, but it definitely isn't the easiest, and it has its own gigantic share of challenges. And the other part of that conversation is, you gotta remember, this is a pretty well-calibrated character. Like, 750 skill points, level 200 artifacts. I mean, your CR isn't really anything to write home about, but that's not where the money comes from with her, you know. But yeah, it works though, and I think that's one of the reasons why I like these weird fights, is they allow me to use my weird characters in ways that they don't always necessarily get appreciated for, instead of getting cussed at for being a battle troll or other crazy shit like that. Anyway, so we're coming down to the end of the fight. Let's talk about rewards, because you know those have to come into play. Now, this is the new hotness, which means there are definitely feats associated with it. Also, it does have the same reward schedule as everything else. That's going to be that 8-mark box, and it is going to be the reward box to go along with it. That way you have a little bit of both. In addition to both of those things, probably more important than either of those things, feats, feats, feats. Tons of feats. Come out and get you some feats. Well, folks, it's been a fun night. I'll go ahead and get this posted, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Stay safe. Keep fighting.